everyone, my name is Katie Carson and I am the Duchess of Suds here at Royalty Soaps. You guys have been asking for another DIY video for a while now, so I decided to go ahead and humor you while also performing an experiment. I have proven in the past that you can create fully customizable bubble bars cheaper than the original creator. Company starting with a 4-letter word that rhymes with crush. But can we do it again with their ever-popular soap jellies? And will ours still perform as well as the original creators? Now some of you may be wondering what the heck a soap jelly actually is. Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a soap that looks, feels, and acts like a jelly, but gets you clean and is actually really bubbly. I'm looking at the original creator's website, and these soap jelly bars cost $11.95 for 8 ounces. And because I'm going to try to create 8 of these jelly soaps, that means I have a $95.60 budget to try and stay under. Can I do it? I honestly don't know. But by the end of this video, regardless of whether I can crown myself Princess Penny Pinching, you will still have an incredibly fun DIY to do at your next slumber party. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing is first, you will need 4 pounds of Stephenson Crystal Clear Jelly Melt and Pour. I got mine from the chemistry store because I bought it in bulk, but if you're just wanting to make a small batch, the cheapest supplier I could find with the shipping costs was Brambleberry, because that's also where I purchased our fragrance from. Speaking of fragrance, you will also need 2 ounces of fragrance oil. Today I am using Blooms and Berries by Brambleberry, which is an awesome mixture of both fruit and floral. Right here on the packaging it does say that this normally discolors a cold process soap to a tan because it contains vanillin, but because I am already making a dark soap, it's not going to have that big of an effect. However, if you have a vanilla fragrance oil, please do not use that in your soap jelly because it will turn absolutely every color that you try to make your soap jelly a horrible, yucky brown. So make sure that you're using non-discoloring fragrance oils in this project. But once again, I've already tested it with this and it was fine. Haha. Coloring your soap is optional, but it really adds to the visual appeal, and honestly, it just doesn't cost that much to do. This ½ ounce of Royal Plum liquid colorant is from TKB Trading, and if bought by itself with no extra items, is only $5. And remember, that includes the shipping cost. Plus, you only need a little bit, so you will have plenty left over for more Bath & Body creation. As a quick note, please only use colorants and fragrances approved and created specifically for cosmetic and Bath & Body crafting, even if it's just for your own personal use. No crayons allowed. Your safety is important too. To make the soap base pourable, it must be heated and chopped up, so you will also need a microwave safe bowl, a stirring utensil, a really sharp knife. This one is my favorite for hacking up soap bases and hard butters, link in the description. A digital scale to measure out the fragrance oil and soap base if you aren't buying exact amount. I got this one from Brambleberry, however, if you'd like a cheaper alternative, you can always look at Walmart. They have one for about $15 there. Some protective eyewear and gloves, because good manufacturing practices, yo. And 8 containers to pour your jellies into. Now, the original creator of this product uses plastic jars with lids, so that's what I'm going to be doing also. I tried to find these jars at any other supplier besides the chemistry store and it just couldn't be done. And since I'm trying to mimic their packaging as close as possible, that's what I'm using today. However, a cheaper alternative is to use glassware bought at your local grocery or hardware store in a set. Do be sure, if you use plastic, that it is strong enough plastic grade to withstand the heat of the liquid jelly, aka use polypropylene. PET jars, while cheap, will melt. P.S. If you want to add cosmetic grade glitter, again, approved for cosmetics and soap crafting, you totally can, and it looks awesome. Also, as a final note, I have put 90% rubbing alcohol in this little spray bottle to spray on top of the soap jellies after they have been poured to kill any little bubbles that might be sitting there. This is not necessary, but it is highly advisable for a very clean finish on top. I will do a final cost tally in the description box below, but you have to promise not to open it until the end of the video. Now onward to the actual creation! First thing we're doing here is putting on our protective eyewear and our little safety gloves. Please don't skip this part. I know it may seem like it's unnecessary. By the way, I look so cool in these. But like I said, good manufacturing practices, and just in case anything does splatter on the off chance, it's a lot better to be safe than to be sorry. My soap jelly is pre-chopped, so I'm going to be adding it slowly into this wonderful bowl that I got from the dollar store. Just get all of that in there. Come on, soap jelly, ploppity plop. While I will be creating a 4-pound total of these soap jellies, I am heating, melting, mixing, and pouring in 2-pound increments because it goes a lot faster that way. Once everything has been properly measured and is in your bowl here, you're going to start heating this soap jelly base in the microwave for 30-second intervals. This may take a while, somewhere between 5 to 7 minutes, but I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. After about 5 minutes, this is what the soap looks like. Now, again, it's not completely 100% melted, but this is when I like to add my fragrance oil. So I'm going to put this on the scale and measure in 1 ounce. Awesome, so it's all in now, so I'm going to start stirring this very, very slowly. And it's once again going to become pretty hard and not nearly melted enough, but for some reason adding the fragrance oil in at this stage tends to help it melt a little faster in the microwave. I don't know if it's just from adding that extra liquid in there, but that is what I have found to be the case. So after you've kind of stirred it in about this much, put it back into the microwave until it starts looking once again really, really transparent and rather liquidy. This is the stage that you want to be at when you start adding your colorant. Now, this soap base hardens up really, really fast, so you have to work quickly. So here's the Royal Plum. I've shaken it up really good. I'm going to add about that much. See how I like the color. This is a very royally pretty purple. Doesn't look like that's going to be enough, so I'm going to add a little bit more. If you see that it's starting to do this number on you right here and starting to get really, really hard, instead of trying to stir it, please just take out your spatula or your spoon, whatever you're working with, set it to the side and heat it up for a little longer to avoid getting more bubbles in there. After heating it up a little more, it has obviously melted. I'm going to spray it just a little bit with the rubbing alcohol just to break up any bubbles that I can. And you can see this is a lot easier to stir. So as it starts to get, harder to stir, just put it back in. Not a big deal. This does take a little bit of patience. Great, now because this looks the way I want it to as far as color goes and the fragrance smells amazing, I'm going to peel off all of this from the spoon. It comes off really, really easy, but be careful. You don't want to burn yourself. I'm going to pop this back in the microwave for about 30 seconds just to make sure that it's in the most liquid form I can get it, and then I'm going to pour the first two. While that's heating up in the microwave, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here with my scale. I'm going to set my little container here on top, and then I'm going to tear it out so that it says 0. And then when I pour, I'm going to pour it right into that and try to get it as close to 8 ounces as I possibly can. Obviously, you're not going to get exactly 8 ounces, but that's what we're shooting for. Okay, 30 seconds is up, so it's time to start pouring. Again, this doesn't become totally liquidy, it just stays sort of semi-liquidy, so there's going to be some plopping going on. I'm going to try to get 8 ounces. 8 ounces, woohoo! And then I'm going to spray it real quick. The 90% rubbing alcohol, set it to the side, and heat it up for a little bit more to pour the other two. When you are done, your little jellies should look something like this. You're going to want to let this sit for 5 to 6 hours or until it is 100% cool. And then if you're going to sell them, you'll need to label them up according to the standards set by your country. And if you're just using them for personal use, you might want to at least put a little something on there that says what fragrance it is and when it was made, just so you yourself don't forget. As a tip, to keep it waterproof, you can write it on a regular piece of paper and then put a piece of packing tape over it and make sure that there are no air bubbles. That will keep it waterproof for at least a little while. And if you want to be really fancy, you can design your labels in Photoshop or GIMP and then print it on weatherproof paper. You can get that on Online Labels, and I will of course leave a link below. So let's see how this compares to the original company's product when it comes to a lather test. So here is the original company's product that I have kind of mutilated because I've used it so often. So this is what a lather test looks like. Essentially, bubbles are being created just by the water hitting the soap. And then as you move it around in your hands, that's a pretty good bit of bubbles there. If you take a little bit of a piece off like this and then kind of crush it up, you get even more bubbles. Here is our little soap jelly that we just created, and when I let the water go over it, bubbles are created just like the other one, just like that. When I move it around in my hands, more bubbles are created. I feel like I feel like this one's more bubbly. Look at this. This could also be because I'm holding just a little bit more, but I'm looking at this as compared to this, and I'm thinking these are close to the same size, and this one has a significant amount of bubbles that are coming off. It's also a little bit stronger than the other one. The other one's brand new, by the way. It's a little bit stronger than that. Doesn't feel like I'm going to break it so easily. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to tear some off like this. I'm going to kind of squish it up in my hands a little bit. Add some water. Really, really, really sudsy, guys. Really sudsy. I think that ours is comparable, if not better. And that, my friends, is how you make your very own soap jellies. So let's go ahead and see if I met my goal. So for all of the products that I used today, the final total, including all of the shipping costs, because that is also part of your cost, it ended up being $61.96. Hooray! Hooray! We can make it for cheaper. Now, the breakdown is that theirs costs $11.95 per, and ours costs, oh wait, for it? $7.74. So these cost $7.74 to make, and the difference then is $4.21. Ours is $4.21 cheaper. Plus, we had more bubbles. Ours is completely customizable, so you can make it in any color and any fragrance you want. And if you want to make more than just 8, you will actually get it cheaper per container because you'll be buying it in bulk and therefore getting better pricing per soap jelly. Now, the one thing we didn't do that the original creator does with all of their products is use fresh ingredients. Y'all know that is like their big thing. They use fresh ingredients. So if you'd like to try out putting in, you know, peppermint essential oil or lemon juice or grapefruit juice or avocado or other weird crazy concoctions, then please do so. Do your own experimenting, see what you can come up with, and share it on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Tag me in those products so that I can see all of the cool, fresh soap jellies that you guys have created. Once again, my cost breakdown and all of the products that I used today are in the description box below. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, maybe even leave me a comment down below. If you liked this type of video, this DIY plus the breakdown to see if we could do it cheaper than a bigger company, let me know, and maybe I will do some more in the future. P.S. If you would like me to make a label design video within the next coming weeks, let me know, because I've been thinking about doing that. Lots of people have asked me how I create my labels, and I use 100% free software for my labels. So if you'd like to, you know, see me make some labels for these or whatever, let me know. I may do it. And until next time, I hope you have an absolutely royal day, and bye for now.